Oh,
Let's make sure everything's coming in the way it should. Yeah. Yeah.
coming in hot, looking fat. Where's the homie that told me I needed to eat more cheeseburgers? I had a couple McChickens before I got here, and I thought of you.
A couple of McChickens.
A couple McChickens and
What's a couple of McChickens?
2.
Okay, that's an acceptable. When you say a couple, I'm like thinking like 3 or 4. And
No,
it's like,
not
all right,
be-
we gotta have a discussion
No,
about that.
we're not talking about beer. Like, beer has a special definition for a couple, a few, and several.
Okay.
But McChickens are pretty literal, especially with that mayonnaise.
Dude, is it weird that it's the best when I like open up a McChicken? I mean, I haven't had a McChicken in quite a long time. But when I would go to McDonald's frequently, I would open up the McChicken and like you could see the mayonnaise around the outside, and I'd be like, "This is gonna be a good McChicken."
Oh yeah, yeah. When they really like go to town with the condiments. However, I'm not quite sure what else was on that McChicken because that the girl that took our order was not very nice, and I was not very nice back.
I mean, to be fair, she is. How can you be very happy working at a McDonald's?
Look, here's the thing, though. I don't expect you to be happy, but what I expect you to be is at least polite, because you're getting paid to do that. If I'm sitting there and you're like, "Can I take your order?" and I'm like, "Yeah, just give me 1 second. I need to figure out what all we want." And 5 seconds is, but hello, can I take your order? I'm probably coming back at you with a, "No, you fucking can't." Give me a goddamn minute and I'll talk to you. I actually that one is notorious for it. There have been instances when shit like that has happened and I've just driven off. Like no food, just like fuck it, I'll go somewhere else.
Did I
don't
ever
care.
tell you about the Wendy's incident when me and Alicia were like first got together pretty much?
Is this a fire in the hole situation?
No.
Where's our little peoples? Oh,
There
there are no peoples.
They'll trickle in yet.
There are no peoples.
Give them some time. We went to Wendy's. This was when like we worked like shit jobs, making like no money. And
Well, I don't know about you, but nothing changed here.
we go to Wendy's and we ask them, we're like, "Hey, how much for a spicy chicken sandwich?" And they came back with like $5 and some odd cents. It wasn't what we could afford, so we're like, "Okay, thanks." We just drove off. We still laugh about that to this day.
Wasn't it a Wendy's in that one video where they make like this rhyme? What do they say? But the guy responds with, "Click clackety duck. This is what the fuck I want."
No, he said. Oh, he said something to the guy, and then that's what the guy responded with. He said, "Click clackety duck. This is what the fuck I want." There was another time we went to McDonald's. This was after we were at Lincoln Speedway, and I was pretty drunk.
Well,
And Alicia was driving. I was in the passenger seat, and we're in the drive-thru. And she wanted to get ice cream, and of course we went to the one that, of course, their ice cream machine was broken.
oh god.
So we asked, blah blah, can we get ice cream? And they were like, "Oh, actually, it's down." And I immediately am just like, "Of course!" I started yelling at the lady, and Alicia drove off like as fast as she could.
Welcome to McDonald's. What's your order, bro? Hey, I want to make flurry, yo. Yeah, I could see you doing that.
Yeah, there was another time they gave you were just talking about how they gave you an unsweet tea. I went into McDonald's and asked for a sweet tea. I asked for 2 sweet teas, and they gave me an unsweet tea and a sweet tea.
Fuck that.
So I took a sip of the sweet tea and just went all over the window of the entrance. I was a menace.
There's people that have done like fire in the hole. That was a thing for a little while.
Yeah.
When I worked at Pizza Hut, somebody called and I was like, Shrewsbury Pizza Hut, what's up? It's Friday night. How can we make your day? You know, whatever bullshit we fucking said. It was something stupid. He's just like, my day's already been made. I'm like, oh, that's great. What can I get for you? He's like, I just walked in on my wife having sex with another man. And I'm just like, what can I do for you? I really want just a cheese personal pan pizza. And I'm like a 9-incher? He's like, no, I've had enough of that. And I'm like, oh, okay. You come in here and you can have whatever pizza you want for free. Just tell him you talk to me.
Dude, some of the best times, like at a job, have been like working at a pizza shop.
Oh, dude, we did everything there.
Dude, when I worked at CC's Pizza, dude, we did some wild shit there.
So like the Pizza Hut I used to work at isn't there anymore. It's actually Domino's now. Like they bought the land and rebuilt, and
that's depressing.
Yeah, but so Domino's used to be directly next door while it was Pizza Hut.
Mm-hmm.
We called and ordered Domino's delivery to Pizza Hut. And they like didn't put two and two together until the guy walks through the door and he's like, did you guys? And I'm like, yeah, man, you get tired of this shit.
Yeah. We used to make deals with like all the restaurants around us. Like we'd trade pizza to Arby's, and then they'd give us a bunch of like different sandwiches, and we'd do. I think there was a Five Guys. We'd do deals with them. They would want pizza, and we would just like do this big food trade back and forth.
The bartering.
And then there was an Egyptian guy that worked
Okay.
He was a cook in the mornings, and I worked prep in the morning.
And another thing at night.
So he barely spoke any English. The nicest guy. He literally was working and sending pretty much like 95% of his paycheck to his family who still lived in like Egypt. And that he was like working on getting them like over.
I couldn't do that, but
and
anyway,
he great dude. Every single morning we'd come in and we'd say hi to him, and I'd start me and the person whoever was working with me, we would do our prep with the dough, start making the dough, cut up the veggies, cut up the cheese, and he would always make a pizza for everybody in the morning. And he would just sit it like in the space between cook and prep and just give us like it's ready. Like give us the nod, like there you go, guys. And like it got to a point where like we started just asking him for the most ridiculous combinations of pizzas that you could make, and he made it, and it was so good. He brought in eggs and made like a breakfast pizza for us. Dude, he was top-notch guy. But Andy, I think we should start diving into these topics here.
What?
So I'm going to start off with this one because...
What?
I'm going to start off with this one because...
Are those words?
What?
Are those words?
Yeah? Do you have eyes?
Yes.
So I've gone back and I've been playing like old games that I haven't played. And some of the games that I've started to revisit or visit for the first time is Atari. So they just announced a new Atari system called the Atari 7800 Plus. And it plays the original like carts and the 5200 carts. So it plays like both carts for like the most popular Atari systems from what I gathered.
What's a cartridge?
A what?
Cartridge. Is that like something with Cardi B or?
Oh, I misspelled that. That's
And
the
I
thing
can't
you
read.
focused on. So, and like as I go back to like old Atari, the sound in that is, it's not good. It's actually like, it's alarming. It's not a good sound that comes from those games.
Well,
it's just not. It's harsh.
I mean,
So
what was it, 1970 something?
something, yeah. So with this new Atari 7800 Plus or whatever it is, who is it for? Like what audience are they targeting here? That like yeah, like a lot of people when you talk about like old video games, like they will touch on the Atari, but most of like the good memories and the stuff like that come from the NES.
Well, let's put this in context. People who have nostalgia for Atari are probably getting close to 60.
Yeah, like proper nostalgia for the Atari. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, like, oh my God, that was my first system.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I have so many memories playing Pitfall and Missile
Pong.
Command and
Pong.
Yeah, that and
Pong.
Joust and
Pong.
Yes, Pong.
I also think there's probably a market for it for people who like maybe weren't born when the Atari came out, but it was like passed down from an older sibling
So like
or something like that.
They just missed out on like that. But like the weird thing for me with who is this targeting is like if I'm in that like weird transition period from like Atari to NES where I got the Atari and then shortly after received the NES, I'm not going to go back to the Atari.
Well,
when I played the NES.
I don't think that people who would be in that category would have been in the like initial batch, like the upfront, like the day zero NES purchases. I feel like that they're getting that Atari because the family probably can't afford that kind of spending where it's like, you know, something comes out and they probably had it for a while. Honestly, I think anybody who was a kid in the 70s or 80s probably had exposure to Atari. Hopefully it didn't ruin it for them and they're still interested in seeing it because it wasn't great.
Yeah, like I went back and played. There was one game that was actually like pretty like there was a couple games that were like decent, but they're not games that I'm going to like sink time into. Like I played Missile Command and like that was fun. Like it was fun enough to where I was like, okay, like this is a game I could sit down and play for like 30 minutes or whatever. And then the other one I played was, oh God, I can't remember. It was like you're in like this circle portal and like you have like this C-shape ship and you have to like go around as stuff is coming up at you. God, I wish I could remember what it was called.
At this point,
that game it wasn't bad, but the sound chip and like the sounds that come out of those Atari games are so harsh. Like it's just like ugh.
Okay, so there's a couple things here that I'm concerned about, to say the least. One, Bentley Bears Crystal Quest.
Oh yeah, they're releasing new games too.
Yeah, so
yeah. I forgot about that.
This is basically Atari all over again with wireless controllers, HDMI capabilities.
The controller actually looked pretty sweet.
Dude, it's a joystick with two buttons.
Yeah, it was like a thing that you could hold in your hand rather than like hold it on your lap or suction cup it to something.
I mean, and like, so they're going to have the wireless joystick too with the single button. That's another $35. The system alone is $130. So you might need to figure something out on their pricing with the controllers. But like the base controller that I'm looking at here, this thing,
that was the one. Yeah.
Yeah, this thing can fuck right off. That is not ergonomic at all.
I don't think it's bad. Like the controller design, like I like that they made it like modern and retro at the same time.
Like, well, yes, but if you want retro, go get the old one.
I don't know if it can use the old ones or not. I didn't read that far.
No, I can't because it's wireless. The old ones were wired.
It doesn't have controller ports on the system.
It doesn't even have. So that's the other piece that I'm saying is like a really, really like a huge miscue. All these companies out there are starting to put USB-C chargers on every frickin' thing.
Yeah.
No.
Why?
Why would you do that?
That's like the universal Like
at 5 volts.
Are you saying like to power the console?
Yes.
Oh. Well, it's all it is it's not like a huge. It's probably just like a little emulation machine, basically.
Wall charging plug not included.
Really?
Yeah, that's the problem. It's like,
well, all it is literally just a Raspberry Pi, basically. That's all it is. And then they
actually,
made
it's not even a Pi. It's got a. I found the chip because that's what I was looking for. Was
yeah,
the
like
chip.
a USB will charge that thing or power that thing, no issue.
It's a 3128 sock, a rock chip.
Because that's what the Retron runs off of. It runs off a micro USB. That's how you power that thing.
Stop it.
I don't think it's bad. I mean,
appliances should not have mobile device charging.
It's not appliance. that's a stretch. It's a thing that reads cartridges that projects them on the TV. It's not like it doesn't require power like the old systems did.
Projects it on what?
TV.
A what?
A television.
Oh, so not a mobile device. So basically you have to be static to play it. Micro USB and USB-C was meant for mobile applications like cameras, phones.
That's it. That's basically
laptops
what those things
even
are now.
No, they aren't, because a fucking TV is not mobile, and you need a TV for it.
You're not powering a TV with a.
No, you're not. I'm not saying you need it for the power consumption. I'm saying, like, you are far more likely to knock that bitch off of a table and just fucking ruin the damn thing with that little USB-C connector.
Well, literally, you can just you can power it from your TV.
I mean, in certain cases you could,
That's what I do with that. It's powered from there.
Okay. Okay, I see you on that.
Yeah, like it's convenient, and like everybody has USB-C. Every single person has USB-C.
Then maybe somebody should make a USB to outlet adapter. Oh, wait, that's right.
Of all the things to focus on, you're just like, how dare they power it with USB-C?
It's chintzy as fuck.
No, it's not. It's convenient.
Convenient that you have to go buy a fucking wall brick just to plug it in.
You have that at your house already. How do you charge your phone?
What the hell am I going to charge my phone with if I use my wall brick for my Atari? Don't even.
You're telling me you have one wall brick?
I do not have one wall brick. I have 2 wall bricks.
Mm-hmm.
One for my phone,
mm-hmm.
and one that I can stick my tongue in every time I feel like I need to die.
I think the powering is fine.
I don't, but that's fine.
That's because you focus on the dumbest things sometimes.
So this, I don't think so. I guarantee you I am not the only one that thinks that something like this does not call for a USB-C application, especially not one where it's like, oh yeah, you can go get your own wall brick at Five Below. Fuck you, Atari. Come on, like, just stop. Put it in there. Put it in the box. You guys could easily source it off Alibaba or, any of those online bulk order things.
Then you have to worry about liability.
Oh, because you could.
What if one burns up?
I would be more worried about liability about some dumbass trying to plug the damn USB-C charger into the wall.
Well, that's not their fault. They didn't give you a cable. You got the cable on your own.
No, they give you cable. They just don't give you the brick.
Now that doesn't make
See,
sense.
that changes something.
That's a little weird. But I think pretty much every TV has a USB port on it for some reason. So you can literally just charge it from your TV.
They do. A lot of times they're actually the same as the service port. But
yeah, so it's fine.
Oh, it does have DB9 controller ports.
Oh, so you can use like the old controllers and stuff.
Well, I don't know if that's the old controller, but
I would hope so.
Open source emulation software pro system.
Yeah, so like it basically does the same thing as like the Retrons and stuff. Is when you plug in the cartridge and you turn the system on, it's not playing the game from the cartridge. It's it's like ripping the ROM off of the cartridge and like convert some little magic that's going on in there.
Yeah, it reads it.
Yeah,
And
like
then
it doesn't play it from the cartridge. It's like it rips it from the cartridge and it's not
all the it doesn't. It's not an active read.
Yeah.
It's like front read. The 7800 console takes its place among other 80s design icons like shoulder pads, crop tops, and aviator sunglasses. They're trying too hard, man. This one,
yeah.
This is purely a play on nostalgia. Bentley Bear, whoever came up with that should probably be fired. And they're saying it's two systems in one because it plays both.
Yeah, it plays I forget.
It's not
2400?
2600,
and then the 5200.
That's a very, very unique approach.
I think that is a really cool feature of that is the fact that you can, because I mean, if you go to any, like, you go to Marketplace,
where are you going to find them?
Atari
on Marketplace?
Cartridges?
On Marketplace?
Atari cartridges?
Like working ones?
Yeah. You can, dude. I sold a. Because I bought an Atari because I wanted to try it out. Well, the Atari system didn't work. So I ended up finding somebody to buy the cartridges, basically just wholesale. He gave me like $50 for like 50 cartridges.
I mean,
they're dirt cheap. If you go into a game store and they have Atari cartridges, they are literally probably almost being like, just take them, please. Get them off of the shelf. We don't want them anymore. They're just taking up space.
Here's the problem, though. Like, they're releasing something that like essentially revives the old stuff. But in full context of this, for $130, they are probably manufacturing them for, I would say, somewhere in the $30 to $40 range per unit.
So the price range for that, I don't think is terrible for what it is. Like
I do.
The price range for it, I think, is like okay.
For double that, you can have a Nintendo Switch.
Well, yeah, but if you're just like a video game collector or you're into video games, if someone's like, "Hey, I have this system that can play these old cartridges, and there's new stuff coming out for it too."
Okay, but
here's the system for $130.
It's still
I'm not jumping to buy it, but I'm like, that's not awful.
It's
not the price that I would jump on it at, but
let's call this what it is. It's that Christmas present that the aunt that you hear from once a year gets you and thinks it's amazing, and you get it and you're like, well, shit. You're just like, okay, maybe we'll
she
play. She
knows that you like video games, and you're like, thanks, Aunt Teresa.
Slightly better than socks.
At this point, I think socks are a pretty nice gift nowadays. Because those are the things that you don't want to buy for yourself. Like, every time I'm just like, great, I need underwear or socks.
I haven't needed underwear
but
in
if someone's
12
like,
years.
Hey, I have this old video game, $20, it's yours. I'm like, yeah, give me it. Well, not really, but
the Atari. Yeah, I mean, this is just a pitch. It's
I like the fact that they
it's a nostalgia
made it
bend.
able to read cartridges, because I think that makes it more like open to buy. Like,
how about we do this instead of making it able to read the damn cartridges? Just take all of those and put them on a hard drive inside of it, so you can pick whatever game you want to play from the old shit. And then you might be able to get $150 for it.
Somebody's gonna do that. People did that for all of the classic consoles.
Like you said, Raspberry Pi. If you know half
a thing
about computers.
have hacked and stuff the PlayStation Classic, the NES Classic, the Super NES Classic, the Sega Classic. They've done all of that.
Okay.
But this is for like a nice nostalgia collector. Like, there's things that come out that give you that little nostalgia hit where you're just like, all right, and $130 isn't a hateful price for that little, like, okay, you got me.
I measure purchases in terms of time now. That is not worth it to me.
I mean, if I had, like, if it were something that played into my nostalgia a little more, I'd be like, well, maybe. I'm still not like jumping on it because it's something that I don't personally need or whatever. But and the same thing with like the classic systems. Like I wasn't jumping on those because I don't really need those. But it's a price point where I'm like, if I wanted it, sure.
$50 would be a good price point.
I think they should have put it at that really sweet spot of $99.99.
Still too much.
If you put it at that like
when did the
under $100,
when did the 2600 come out?
I don't even. You're asking the wrong guy for that.
Oh shit!
What?
That's not what I wanted.
Clear the history.
No, if anything happens to me and I die into a fire.
Someone will steal.
September 11th, 1977.
Hi, Christy. When? 1977?
Yep.
Okay. So
they should have made it $77. That's a fair
No, they
price
should have
point.
made it $911.77.
I think that's suicide at that point, but
no, but like it's not for me. It's not for you. But I think like what they've done with it in terms of they made it to where it can read the cartridges if you'd like, which is awesome because those cartridges are literally you can get them for like nothing. So you could like go out and like if you're an older guy who has like a younger kid and you're like, I want to show you something that I used to play.
Jesus.
And you went and you got this, thing, and then you went out to whatever and bought like a box of 100 games you found on Marketplace for like $20.
You might play 2.
It's fair, but it's a thing that you can sit down and like be like, oh, I remember this, and you can put it in. And you're like, this is garbage. Next one. And
now can I tell you about some?
It's a nice experience. It's fun to do.
Now can I tell you about some of my other memories from childhood?
Now let me tell you about Nam, boy.
Yeah, most of those stories are pretty bad.
Every time someone says like Nam or whatever, I think of the dog, the meme of the dog where he's like, it flashes out and it just shows like the battlefield and he's just staring like.
You ever heard of napalm? I got Agent Orange.
So keeping it on like this retro nostalgia kick, GameStop announced that they're doing retro stores now. So they've been advertising like crazy about GameStop retro stores, where they these certain
retro store.
So these stores are deemed GameStop retro stores, where they're gonna have like a focus on carrying like retro games and stuff.
No. Cancel it.
So
all you kids cancel it.
I think the thought is good.
No.
But I think it's too little too late.
GameStop is too little too late.
I can agree. But
like they make some of the shittiest decisions known in business.
Yeah, they haven't made great ones.
This is probably one of them. Like I'm thinking of the local stores that we have and I'm like, "Oh, GameStop just wants to make one of those." Guess what? It looks like every other fucking GameStop.
I don't know if they're changing like any of the designs or they're making it like where you drive by it and you're like, that's different. I don't know if they're going that deep.
Oh, I promise you it'll have a different logo.
That would cost money that they don't have.
It's going to have a different logo. It's going to have like this 80s retro logo and it's going to have...
They've been advertising it that way. They've been advertising it like GameStop and then it has like the typical like neon retro underneath of it. I think it's too little too late, if I'm being completely honest.
If I'm a game retailer, why am I going to make somebody go to a completely different fucking location to get a different product when I have enough locations already where if I just flooded them with that product, like you could introduce it to existing stores and already have a client base rather than being like, oh, yeah, you got to go to our retro store down off Queen Street. Fuck off, man. I'm not going over.
Yeah, I can agree that like it's kind of a weird decision to like not just make all of the stores retro stores, because then like all of them are going to have a selection of, you know, these retro games, whether it's Nintendo, Super Nintendo, blah blah, whatever. But the thing that alarms me or raises some red flags is you need to have proper quality control, or else it's just going to be chaos nowadays.
Well, they already suck at used.
Because if you're a retro store, you need to be able to open up a Pokemon cartridge and recognize if it's legit or if it's fake. You need to be able to open up a Chrono Trigger and look to see if it's real or fake. You need to open up a Sculptor's Cut to realize, like, this is not a real thing. Not just be like, okay, thank you, here's your money, bye.
That's what's going to happen, though.
And then you slap it on your shelf and some guy comes in and like, oh my god, it's $100 less than this or $200 less than what I could buy it from anything else. Like, sure. And then they get a fake, and now it's just another fake out in the world.
People actually fake those?
All the time.
I
think it's more of a problem with like it's a big problem with Pokemon games. Those are faked so much.
Pokemon.
They're like the Game Boy. They're starting to get into like DS now.
You just unlocked a memory for me. Do you remember the James Bond game for Super Nintendo?
Wasn't it James?
I think it was James Bond Jr.
Wasn't it James Pond?
No, James Bond Jr.
Yes, but
damn it, I'm looking at.
There was one that was James Pond, right?
I hope not.
Am I remembering that?
I don't think so.
There's 4 retro GameStops within 30 miles of Shrewsbury. Yeah, I think every GameStop that I used to go to around me are all retro GameStops. But here's the problem with that I think is going to happen. Like,
ha!
Oh yeah, but was there one that was I don't know why I keep James Pond.
I am terrified of what's going to come up when I search this, but
or am I just?
There was.
There was? Okay.
James Pond 3, Operation Starfish.
All right.
James Pond, codename Robocod.
Yeah.
Terminator Fish Edition.
The thing about the GameStop and like the retro stuff is like, I feel like if you're a retro collector or you are having any interest in retro games, you already have your places that you go. Like you have a relationship that's been established with the shops. You trust them. You know that what you're buying is actually what it is. It's in good condition, well taken care of. Like I think if I'm buying something from a GameStop that's in the retro world, it has to be a pretty damn good deal.
I'm probably not
and
going...
I have to be for some reason in a GameStop.
I'm probably not going in there.
I've gotten out of going to GameStops for a long time. Like if I'm at the Park City Mall, like I'll be like, I'm gonna pop into GameStop and see what they got, and I immediately regret it when I walk in because it's all just like junk stuff it's the toys, the shirts, the knickknacks, and all of this stuff, statues and this and that, and it's like
it's not a game store
I don't
want
to look at this stuff. I want to look at games. That's all I want to see.
It's not a game store anymore.
It's not. It's like I have this stuff.
It's an ADHD fucking heaven. It's like,
yeah.
Oh look, our buyer had a freaking moment, and we wound up with all this new shit.
Yeah, and like Just Press Play is starting to get into that too. Like where I walk into their stores,
you just said them on air,
and I'm like,
that's the first time.
They have so many
I hate those stores.
Dude, they have some statues in there that are like $2,000. Like, who's buying these?
I mean, I know a guy who paid $15,000 for a BioShock statue, so
I mean
it was 7 feet tall though.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Like it was literally the display at E3.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet, but I think the GameStop
Big Daddy
going back into retro is just a little too late.
I think GameStop should just kind of cut their losses and disperse amongst their shareholders.
I don't think they're going to last because one, like nobody that I know is going into GameStop.
GameStop is like that 80s one-hit wonder band that's still playing shows.
They're like, you want to hear the hits? And the people that show up are like, I guess, yeah, sure.
Josie's on a vacation far away.
Dude, there was
come around and talk it over.
A reel that I saw. It was this dude that jumped up on stage, and he's like, it's a fan. He grabs the mic. He's like, I got my first real 6-string.
I saw that.
And then, like, the security pulls him off.
Boom!
And then they keep playing it from right where he stopped.
And then he's like, bought it at the 5 and dime. And they're just like, well, he started it, so. That was Springsteen, wasn't it?
Oh, it was so funny. That was so good.
I bought my first real 6-string.
So we'll keep rolling with video games here.
Jesus.
Because I think we can probably combine these two topics. So game development time is taking the longest it's ever taken. It's taking like 5 to 6 years now or more to get a game done from start to finish. And even then it's not done because it still has bugs, which I think is just insane.
Well, I mean, coming from a software development background of many, many years, you would be surprised at how much shit can go wrong.
Fair, but I think
they're doing it wrong.
A lot of like game releases and stuff, like by the time they're done and released, the idea is outdated right from the jump, and it doesn't do well.
So here's the thing, like you have to. So I come from the world of how are we gonna say working software, not necessarily like working software, but like not games. Like functional software, things that are meant to support like business practices, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So games are a little bit different in that, we all use the same languages, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Games have typically wanted to get to a finished state before they release, which is markedly different from the other stuff where we're like, deliver early, deliver often.
Yeah.
So it's like, as soon as this is functioning, ship it. And then continue shipping it every 2 fucking weeks until it's finished. And I think if games, now that they have the internet connectivity to the consoles and shit like that, if they adopted that kind of agile practice, then you would see some differences. Because it would be like, okay, it's going to take us 6 months to get to our first, like, release cut.
Yeah.
And then you can just build on that, and it's like, if you structure it right, maybe people play it and they can only play to a certain part, and then they got to wait until like, that 2-week release. And
so the thing that they're running into is like, by the time they get released, like they are just outdated ideas and no one has any interest in it.
That's because they blow it up at the front and then.
But another thing too is like with Cyberpunk and stuff like that, they have these bugs that are so bad that it puts the game in an unplayable state. Like, and by the time you get it fixed, people are already like, especially now with how many games release, so like they release so often, it's just dead.
So here's the deal.
It's just dead immediately. If there's a problem where it's like it keeps me from playing the game, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll wait for that. I'm not waiting because I move on to the next game and I get sucked into that. And by the time they're like, hey, we fixed it, it's just like, no, okay, like.
Well, it's a highly competitive.
I'm already over here now, so. It's
a highly competitive environment. You kind of get like one shot. It's like that. It's the song. Get one shot, do not miss a chance.
Yeah. You get one shot, one
so,
opportunity.
To what I'm saying
it's
with
everything
that,
you ever wanted. One moment. Would you capture?
You literally
let it slip.
Like, the only way to stop those bugs is to actually pay somebody to play video games and test the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, this happens here. And then you reproduce it, and then you fix it, and then you keep going on. And those cycles can go forever.
I think the development teams and the developers and everybody that's working on a game should all pile into an auditorium and watch Grandma's Boy.
It wouldn't be a bad idea. Testing is it's probably
crucial.
more critical than the development itself, because is bad development worse than no development? In my opinion, yes. Like if you have a shitty piece of software, it's worse than not having software at all.
It's not like they just need to release the game in a playable state where it's like you have these bugs and they're fine. They're not like affecting it majorly. I can still play it. I can still move on and be like, okay, this is fine. This is okay. But a big example of why I wanted to talk about this is there's two. Number one is Concord. It's a shooter that just came out.
What is it?
And it's called Concord.
That's not up there.
Well, I didn't put it up in the notes.
We're not talking about it. It's got to be on the screen.
So it just came out. The Steam numbers came in, and they have less than 1,000 concurrent players. So it's a shooter. It's like a hero shooter, like Apex or Overwatch. So here's the problem.
That was the problem.
It's been in development since like 2016. It took 8 years to do it. And of course it's launching. Nobody's going to play it. They're already playing Overwatch, and they're already playing Apex Legends.
Who?
Nobody is going to care about another game. And here's the thing. Apex, free. Overwatch, free. Concord, $40.
Who sat down and said it was a good idea to, one, enter a flooded market, but two, enter a flooded market and take 8 years to do it, and three,
you
charge money while you're at, like that.
You should have just scrapped it, taken the hit, been like, look, because it literally, it's under 1,000 players on Steam.
The visionary that came up with that needed a good friend who could say, man, I wouldn't do that shit if I was you.
It tanked hard. And then there's another one, Star Wars Outlaws. So they came out with different tiers for the game. I think we talked about it on the podcast at some point when they announced it.
You cry different tiers in the game?
So they announced the different tiers, and if you paid over $100, you got to play the game 3 days early.
Oh, you'll give me early access.
So when you played the early access, that data would transfer when the game released. So you would play from where you stopped or where you couldn't play anymore from the early access. So there was a bug when they updated it when they released that's making people lose their save data. So they basically have to start all over.
Nice.
There was a guy that lost 20 hours of gameplay, and he was like, I don't even want to play this anymore.
Sit there and tell me that wasn't by design.
So it's like...
No,
So you're going to... And then to compensate him for losing that save data, they gave him an in-game trinket and 100 Ubisoft store points. Hey, that's not enough.
That was by design. I got
figure it out. If you're going to put out a game, make sure that when it releases to the public and you need to update a patch, how about this? Make it so you don't need a patch day one.
Well, here's the thing.
Release the game in a playable state when it's released to the public.
Hey, you're not looking at the camera.
I know.
Every game should have a day one patch.
It shouldn't need a day one patch.
Sure it will. So they probably cut that release a week or two before it even hits whatever the delivery is.
Hey, Ubisoft. Wait a week. Finish it.
Well, my bigger point is...
I'm not going to be upset if I have to wait another week.
That's fine, but somebody like Ubisoft, who has as much experience as they do, should know better about, architecture and...
Here's an in-game trinket and 100 points to spend in our store.
That's why I think that was kind of...
That's just straight kick to the nuts.
It's not a kick to the nuts, but...
It's like tripping the kid in the hallway, and when you look down at him, you're just like...
You give him the hawk too. Spit on that thing. Ubisoft, somebody there knew better.
I was off the Star Wars Outlaws train when I saw all the nonsense going on with that before it released, and I love Star Wars, but I can pass up on this game. It's ridiculous.
It's not Fallen Order. It's not good enough. It's
ridiculous. So yeah, like the game development taking too long. Like
whoa,
whoa. Yes.
Taking longer than it used to.
With game development taking longer than it used to, I think that you need to figure out a way to speed it up. Or just come out with less games.
I'm just saying.
Maybe how about that?
Sometimes
Stop trying to release 100 games a year.
Well, that's very
Dial
true.
it back. Focus.
Dude, the whole world has to do everything in like 2 seconds. If we don't, we're going to run out of time.
Yeah. Speaking
I have to answer 10 people on my phone right now, and they haven't even texted me yet.
Speaking from somebody that literally, I come down to my game room and I sit down and I play a game and then I start playing a different game because I'm like, I don't want to dive more deeper into that. I don't English. I don't want to dive deeper into this game because I only have like 30 minutes until I have to like be somewhere or start dinner. So I'm just going to play this different game, and then I get sucked into that. So then when I come down, I'm like, okay, what game do I want to play? I don't know. I don't have time to finish the.
Is there a Taco Bell near here? I said near. Don't say Queen Street.
That's the only one.
Damn it!
Why?
I want a burrito. Rob's. When do they close?
I don't know.
They deliver?
No. You could probably DoorDash like Chipotle or.
Oh, that's not Rob's.
Or Qdoba.
What the hell is that?
You never ate Qdoba?
I did. I didn't know it was around here.
Yeah, I don't know where it's at. Actually,
there's one in Park City.
No, there's one in the east.
Oh, they close at 8.
Rob's?
Yeah.
You got 30 minutes.
Grab the camera.
It's a weird thing.
Where's my daughter? I'll give her my keys.
Yeah.
I can see that going. Horrible.
You can text my wife and pay her, and she'll make a run.
Your wife will not go to Rob's for me. I will not ask a pregnant woman to do that.
It's driving in a vehicle.
Yeah, I'm not asking her to do that. Come on, man. She's probably doesn't fit right anymore, and
she fits perfectly fine.
Her belly don't rub the steering wheel thingy?
No. Nope.
Why did she watch it? Alicia, are you watching?
No, she's not. I don't know what she's doing. Being a loser.
Loser! Move on!
Yeah, but like the whole game development thing, they need to figure that out because they're running into a lot of these issues more often than not. But the thing about the trying to compete with shooters and these free-to-play games, and then you charge $40 for your game, like you're just dead in the water when you come out. Like you can't be surprised at that at all. So being a parent, Andy, We're parents, right? Sort of, kind of. We're kind of parents.
Didn't think you'd bite on that one.
Oh, but I did. So, being a parent, for those of you who don't know, is the most rewarding experience that you will ever have. It's the best feeling. It's the best. It's the best, 100%. But it's also the most heart-wrenching thing that you will ever do. What are you doing?
I was trying to find that song from Twister. Was a Mama's Choo Choo Girl. Show me no. Go on.
So, Andy, you were the one that touched on this topic, so I'll let you carry us into it.
No, like I was thinking the other day, my daughter's getting older, and it truthfully is the most rewarding thing. Like last winter, what happened?
There's this little opening. I saw your belly.
My belly's sticking out over here. I'm gonna fix my damn shirt because it's too damn short.
Oh, that was great.
Like last winter, the chorus concert, she had a solo, and I couldn't be more proud. Like even like every day, there's something where it's like I could not be more proud of you. But and for me, I'm a single parent. For those of you that don't know, she does see her mother, and our arrangement changes depending upon situation. But she spends a lot of time with me, and you go from not really having anyone dependent on you, right?
Yeah.
And then suddenly there's this little thing that you won't even call a human, but it's a human. I mean, it's definitely a human, but you're too terrified to acknowledge that there's another human life in your care.
Mm-hmm.
And it redefines any concept of love you ever had the moment you meet them.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Like, love is completely different than you ever perceived it to be. And through the next, 5 years, 10 years, and so forth, I'd say probably like 10 years, 11 years, given her age, you slowly become their hero. Like, they're everything. They become your best friend. They're your sidekick.
I mean, especially like in your situation of being like a single parent. Like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, granted, I wasn't a single parent the whole time, but
yeah.
Even in the moments that I wasn't, it was still like, oh yeah, my little sidekick. I have
mini-me. You're still the parent.
Yeah, exactly. And then they get to this age where it's like, I want freedom. I want to be able to make decisions. There are other people in the world that I want to spend time with. And they slowly, spend more time away from you. And it's like, you get to the point where they ask to do things with other people instead of with you. And maybe you had plans with them and like
you
all of
wanted
that
to
stuff.
Do stuff. Yeah. And you didn't, it's not a thing where you're, when you're trying to hash out plans, like if we're trying to plan something, we talk back and forth. Like, you're not talking back and forth, making plans with your own child. You're just like, you don't have a choice. I'm just going to make these plans, and then you're just going to come along with me.
Well, exactly. And, like, for me, it's a situation where it's like, if she has to go do something with her friends, it's, do I want to spend time with her? Yes, absolutely I do. Is there a reason for her to not go to her friends other than my desires?
Yeah,
not really. So, she can go to her friends. But to see somebody actually grow up and kind of, they grow into that phase where you're their everything, and then they grow out of it. And that's the part where it's like, just absolutely heart-wrenching because they're still there, but man, it's hard to watch them get big.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not quite there, and I'm not.
You got time.
I've got plenty of time for that, but I can understand, like, when, like, before I had a kid, like, and you would talk about like what it's going to be like when you have a kid, and then like you find out that
you're completely wrong.
You find out like, oh, like, you know, we're pregnant, like, okay, we're doing this, I guess, and like leading up to that, it doesn't become real until like pretty much a couple of days before they go into labor, really.
Oh, really?
Like, for me, at least. Like, I don't know. My brain's probably broken in some aspect of that. But, like, I'm, like, the way that I think about it and stuff like that, like, especially the first time around, like, excited wouldn't, like, really, like, yes, I was happy and, like, I was as ready as I could be, for sure. But I wasn't, like, I'm not dying to meet them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like my wife in that sense where every thought is like thinking about what are they going to look like? What are they going to be into? Like, what's it going to be like? I want to do this. I want to like, my brain wasn't there.
You sure your wife isn't just like, damn it, get out of me already?
Well, at this point for Bronson, yeah. So like, I wasn't like super like, yes, like everything. But then, like, when we're in the hospital and, like, everything's happening, and then when she came out and we got to meet her for the first time, it was just like, oh, my God. Like, I've never felt this feeling before in my life. Nothing even close. And the fact that our first child, we got to have a very special moment. We got to have my mom and her mom in there with us. So, like, they got to meet her pretty much, like, simultaneously, which was great. So, like, that's a very core memory of mine. Will forever be a core memory of mine. But, like, that initial feeling of, like, holy shit, like, I can't even fathom what, like, all of these feelings that I'm having right now. And then you get to hold them and you get to, like, start that care of like changing their diapers and, you know, feeding them and getting into that rhythm of whatever it takes to, you know, keep this little human alive, basically. It's terrifying because there's like, at least with my daughter, she was so small. Like, she was swimming in newborn stuff and preemie stuff. She was so tiny. But then you get home and you get into like the rhythm of, you know, what it's like to be a parent, and, you know, as they grow each year, they develop so much more than the previous. Like, it's insane. Like, they start walking, and then the next thing you know, they're just talking to you full sentences, and you're just like, when did this happen? And then, like, you find, like, the weird, but, like, one of my favorite parts about being a dad is these moments where I am taking her to her grandparents in the morning to drop her off so I can go to work. Or if we're going to pick up dinner somewhere and it's just me and her. Whenever it's just me and her in the car and she starts like having these conversations with me like she's an adult. Like, she will have these conversations with me that I'm like, mid-conversation, like 5 minutes into it, I'm just like, how did I get here? This is so strange, but it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And nothing compares to those kinds of moments. Like, I could sit in a basement and play games 8 hours a day and get, like, you know, feelings of joy, of reward, stuff like that. But, like, there's no better feeling than, like, taking care of my child and having these moments where we're, like, talking, or I'm listening to her, like, play, and she's, like, using her imagination so deeply that I'm just like, how did you come up with that? Or she'll say something, like, she'll be playing and she'll be, like, in a pet store and she'll be saying about, this is wrong with my pet. I'm just like, what? Like, they say the most outlandish things, and it's so great. It's like, I tell everybody who like I know that doesn't have kids or is like on that verge of like having their first kid. It's just like, dude, look, it's the best thing ever. Like the newborn stage, yeah, that's hard. Like the newborn stage is hard because it's no sleep, broken up sleep.
Yo,
having to.
You don't even know hard.
Like
that's a peach.
The newborn stage to me is like just one of the hardest parts of like being like a parent.
The hard part about the newborn stage
is literally just like the broken up sleep and not knowing like not knowing for sure like what is up.
It forces you to become to adapt to the future, where you basically are a night owl and an early bird at the same damn time.
Yeah.
Like you become adaptable. You very quickly come into the terms where it's like, okay, I basically cater to whatever the need is.
Yeah, and we fucked up so bad.
I know.
We did shifts.
Yep.
Which was the worst idea. It
I
made sense.
I warned you.
It made sense.
I warned you. Of course it makes sense.
But it was such a bad idea.
Babies don't make sense.
So now this time will be much different.
Will it?
There's no shot that we do this whole shift thing again.
Mr.
That was such a bad idea.
I think you guys should do shifts.
No. God, no.
You know what a shift I think you should do?
What's that?
She can do 3 on, so 72 on, 24 off, and then you just fill in the blank.
Dude, it was a nightmare.
No, I'm kidding. Do 48 and 48.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we did. Like, almost.
If you're going to do shifts every hour.
We did it was like every 2 hours.
No,
Dude,
the best.
It was so rough.
I think the best way to do it's just like, kind of like gauntlet it, where it's like, okay, I'll deal with it until I can't, and then I'm just going to come hand it to you. And if it's still crying, that's your problem.
Yeah, we're going to be a little more like knowledgeable in that department when that time comes.
I do want to point out, though, for as heart-wrenching as it can be, it's not like only heart-wrenching. Like it's still so rewarding at the same damn time, and that's the hardest part. That it's
like I said, the newborn stage is like it's rough, but there's not really like these heart-wrenching moments in like I'd say like the first 2 years really, because like you're literally just catering to a crying, shitting baby. That's all that they do. You're watching them as they crawl and making sure that they don't get into nonsense, and if they get sick, then you have to make sure they get medicine and all that nonsense. But
wait until her first day of school.
That's not too far off. But then, like once they start walking and they become like this slightly little independent human that like will entertain themselves for like more than they have been, like you get that little taste of like normalcy and freedom, and you're just like, okay, like
the hell are you talking about?
We're settling in.
That is not when normalcy and freedom comes.
For us,
when they can walk, you better be worried about every damn thing they can get into.
See, that's the weird part, is we didn't have that problem
yet.
Which terrifies me, because I know that the world is just like, your second one will be a demon spawn.
Your second one's a boy. They're going to be...
Yeah, they're...
out the gate.
But when you start, like, when they start feeling emotions and, like, they can, like, talk to you about it,
they feel emotions from day one.
Yes, but, like, when they are actually, like, figuring them out.
I wonder who they were in a past life. I wonder if they were born and they're like, what the hell happened to me? Why am I here? Who is this person? Shit, I gotta act like this is normal.
Yeah. They're actually just super advanced. They just pretend that they're just like, watch this. Take care of me, human slime.
I can't walk. Can't talk. Oh, yes, I can shit. I'll shit. Oh, I can pee too. Okay, we're gonna do it all.
But to the heart-wrenching thing though, when you have to go through stuff, like you've experienced that with your daughter, and I've also experienced that with mine. Those are like double heart-wrenching. When you have to deal with like the loss of a family member.
Oh, you mean like that kind of, yeah.
Like these firsts of like, I wouldn't say traumatic experience, but like things where you're like put on the like offensive, like, all right, like I have to figure out how to navigate this for them. And you kind of put your stuff on the back burner and you're just like, I'll figure that out after this. But first off, I need to figure out how to navigate this one. Like yours was different because it was much like later.
Well, in context for her, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the first like close person she's lost though.
Really?
So my grandfather was this year. 2 years ago at Christmas time, both of my other grandparents died in a fire.
Oh yeah, I think I remember you telling me about that.
And then I think it was between the two, a grandparent, a pseudo-grandparent on the other side.
Who was she like really, really close with?
Out of them all, I mean, she was like, I wouldn't say she was close with the ones that passed away several years ago. She definitely remembered them and like cared about them. We went to the service and all that.
Yeah, but
that was her first service.
It wasn't a thing that really like it was like a feeling, but it wasn't like something where it really resonated like with somebody that was like.
That was kind of the introduction though. So it's like,
yeah, but like I feel like it's different when it's somebody who is like you have like vivid memories with.
This one was definitely different.
Yeah.
Well, and also, I mean, like, unfortunately,
and like you've seen like often.
The unfortunate part of it was she did basically watch it happen too. So
which, that's the same thing, that I wouldn't say like she watched the bad part, like the worst of the worst part of it. Like
no, she was
on my end. On my end, she didn't like. We were there. We let her see. Like she got to a point. My mom got to a point where she basically wasn't responsive. Like we would try and talk to her and she wouldn't respond. We'd try and get her to eat. She wouldn't respond. But if we said, "Hey, Lydia's here," boom. She sat up like nothing was wrong. Hey, sweetie, and like talk to her, and it was like one of those like surreal moments where we're just like, what the fuck? Like, this is unreal. And we let her have those moments, and then when we realized like, okay, like let's keep her out of here, like her mom took her and kept her away like while that happened. And then after the fact, like we had to tell her, like we kind of told her like she was sick and this and that, but we didn't tell her like what the outcome was going to be. And like we told her the outcome, and like it was a thing that was really hard. Like that's the true hard part of being a parent, is when you have to approach like these kinds of situations where it's like, okay, how do I explain to, at the time she was a 3-year-old, how do I tell her that this person that she's seen in her life constantly, all the time, she FaceTimed her all the time, she talked to her all the time, she would see her all the time, like she would come over to the house and have sleepovers. Like, how do I tell them that they're never going to see them again? Like, that was a moment where it's like, okay, we have to like really figure this out to where it's not going to be like huge. And when we told her, she was just like, okay, like she understood, and then was like, okay, and we were like, all right, that was a little easier than we had thought, but it's the aftermath of all of that. Like, we're still dealing with that, where she will just like cry for no reason, and we're just like, why are you crying? And she'll say like, oh, I miss my Nana. And it's just like, fuck, man. Like, it's still to this day, every time she says that, it is like a knife to the chest, because it's the little person that you love so much, and you don't ever want to see them hurt. You don't ever want to see them cry, especially if it's a dad and the daughter. Like, that's a whole different dynamic. So, like, when she says that stuff, it's like it makes me realize that I haven't truly dealt with the grief completely, because I had to deal with it for everybody else, and I had to deal with all the stuff with the estate and blah, blah, blah. Like, I never truly had that moment of just, like, sitting down and being like, oh, man. So, like, having that little constant reminder, like, when she has these moments, or, like, she'll go up and she has a picture of her, and she, like, we'll be getting ready for bed, and she'll pick up the picture and hug it, and then she'll kiss it, and it's just like, oh, just knife to the chest, man. It's such a hard thing to watch, but you just gotta move on with it. You gotta be like, all right, well, I'm gonna go downstairs and might cry, might not, and we're gonna try and get to tomorrow.
I don't know if that's necessarily true though, where you just move on with it. I mean, yeah, like I wouldn't keep it going with her, but like after she's in bed, I certainly think that's a perfect opportunity to start and reflect. And
I mean, you don't really have a choice. Like, you can't, like, I'll be fine, completely fine, having a pretty decent day, and like I get home, I'm like, all right, like let's get into the moments and let's do the stuff that we have to do, and then like that'll happen, and I'm just like, and that just brings me down to here. Okay, like, awesome, thanks for the reminder, I appreciate it. But you can't really just be like, hey, stop talking about it.
Well, it's the thing. Like,
for my sake, please.
They're not doing it to remind you, and they don't even realize, like, it's a context type thing. They aren't at the point yet where they have that kind of awareness to be like, oh, I shouldn't say this. But
yeah.
Thankfully, they get that.
I don't ever want her to have that, like. Speaking of like being like a tough time being a parent, like when you have to navigate like how to approach certain situations, like, you know, if they're at a neighbor's house or they're at a friend's house and they come home and they say something and you're just like, hold on, wait, what? And then they repeat it and you're just like,
fuck did you say to me?
Like, what did you see, or what did you say, or what happened? And then they like,
Billy did what?
They start to like let out more and more every time you just kind of like, hold on, like, say that again. And they your belly's out again. They like having that, like knowing how to navigate those things, it's like, oh my god, like that's the hard part about being a parent. Like feeding them, whatever. Like taking care of them, whatever. Especially at like the age that my daughter's at now, it's I mean, it's relatively easy to take care of her, but those kinds of things are like she's gonna go on for the first time actually. Her friend from school, her parents are doing a thing for her birthday where she can take one friend to, they're going to like Build-A-Bear, I think they're going to dinner, and then or going to lunch, or the lunch or dinner, one of those, I think, and then having cake, and then they're going to bring her back. So they're going to take her.
They're going to bring her back?
And then they're going to bring her back. Like they're
going to bring her back?
I hope so.
Oh.
So they're going to pick her up, and she's going to go with them, and we're not going to be there. And she's going to get to do all this stuff, and then she's going to come back. Like, it's the first time that's happening. And, like, I'd be lying if I wasn't like, ooh, like, how's she going to do? Like, is she going to be good? Like, I have faith that my kid is well-behaved, but I don't want her to, like, have that moment of, like, oh, my parents aren't here. I don't like this.
Mom and Dad aren't around. Burn the place down.
Like, it's a weird thing. Like, it's the first time that she's gone somewhere without us. You know what I mean? Like, she's gone to a birthday party where she can run around and play with kids, and we're not, like, hovering over. That's not the kind of parents we are. But
You really gonna play that?
We are not those kind of parents. We've seen those kind of parents.
Not to the degree you're talking about. I have seen you. You are very caring when it comes to your child.
Yeah, I'm caring when it comes to my child. Yeah, but I'm not like watching her every move and like hovering over her while she's playing at the swing set, being like,
No, you're not 5 feet from her. You're just like 20 feet from her.
"Well, I'm at the house."
You're like the Apache Chinook helicopter, not the Black Hawk that's like right there.
Well, yeah, if some shit goes down, like I'm ready to take care of it. But most of the time when she's playing, like it's like whatever. Like
it's okay. It's a delicate balance. You don't want to be the parent that's over there in the corner where the kids are running around just like doing whatever and like runs into a wall,
you're
gets
sitting
a bloody
there with
nose,
binoculars, like
yeah, you're just sitting there and you're just like, oh, somebody's crying, and it's like, yeah, it's your son. Oh, wait, what?
yeah,
That's
like
not who you want to be.
No.
And you don't want to be the person who's like,
is a kid crying? Who? Is it mine? Huh? What?
no, you don't even have to ask because you're literally 2 feet from them. I've met them too. It's a delicate balance.
Yeah,
and a
like,
lot of people like, I've seen parents where they're like so laissez-faire with their kids that they literally, it's like, your son just beat the shit out of somebody. That's not how to be.
They're like, it's just Junior.
Exactly, but it's like you can't do that. You don't want to be. It's tricky. You don't want to be too close. You don't want to be too far away.
Yeah, but we like it is a balance, yes, and it does take a lot to get to that point. But it's also like it's all about just not like you. I don't even know how to describe it.
LJ, I want you to listen to me. It's a very delicate balance. It's a balance I've worked on many, many, many years. I've done it many times. Many, many, many times. Very delicate. You can't get too close. You can't get too far
The
away.
things that bother me the most are like I'm going to have to like talk to other adults.
No, you don't.
And I'm just like
The only other adults you have to talk to are the adults where their children has an impact on your child's life directly. If they're friends, you don't have to talk to them. It's like, yeah,
but I kind of do. Because like
No.
I don't want to just like have my daughter go over to people's houses and they're just like slumlords.
No, so you don't.
That's the thing. Like I have to meet the parents first and be like, all right, what are you about? Are you like, what are your feelings on this? Are you like pushing this shit on everybody? Because if that's the case,
You don't even get to ask those questions, though.
I get to ask those questions.
You realize that when you ask those questions, that friendship is over for her, right?
Well,
I'm just telling you, like, you got to
price
be
to
able.
pay.
You got to be able to suss it out without explicitly asking that
Most of the time,
shit.
I can suss it out without asking the questions. But
Like,
if they're one of those people where I'm just like, okay, I gotta ask the question.
I've definitely met parents where, like, I meet them and I'm like, man, you're fucking nuts if you think my daughter is ever coming to this house.
Yeah.
Would you like a piece of cake? Oh, I would love to. She can stay.
Like the like figuring it out, like where you're just like, oh my god, I just lost my train of thought.
What a shocker.
Fuck my.
What a fucking shock. Sounds like the perfect opportunity to move on.
All right, yeah, we'll move on.
Ooh. Damn. God. Oh!
Yeah, chill over there. God. Andy, for the people that don't know,
What's this?
we've played music for
Oh, Jesus.
for quite some
I
time.
saw this one. I didn't realize it was on here.
We've played music for quite some time. We've been in our fair share of bands. We've gone to our fair share of concerts and shows, if you will. Let's just talk about some of like our like memories of whether it's being in a band or going to see a show or what have you. Who do you want to share first? Want me to go?
Sure.
So, me and a buddy of mine went to see Hatebreed, Shadows Fall at this place in Allentown.
Did you die?
No.
What a shame.
And Shadows Fall, or it was Shadows Fall.
Allentown or?
It was in Allentown. It wasn't Croc Rock.
no.
It was like the other venue?
It had to be Croc Rock because the only other one's up in
Maybe it was
the
Croc
R.
Rock. Maybe it was Croc Rock.
What's the R one? What's the R city?
Reading?
Yeah, Reading has wasn't the bomb shelter, what was it?
The Silo?
Yeah.
No, this was this was Croc Rock, I think.
Okay.
So,
yeah, Shadows Fall.
Shadows Fall was Shadows Fall played before Hatebreed, and I was like watching everybody like right in around the mosh pit.
Yeah,
and
we don't call it that.
This 7-foot tall dude just shoulder checked me so hard. I didn't even fall backward. I just scooped backward. And he just laid me flat out. I was on my back and I didn't even know what happened. I was just like, what just hit me? And he, like, no sooner did I hit the ground, he's there extending his hand to pick me up. And I'm like, my brain at the point, I was like, hold on. This guy just shoulder checked the absolute piss out of me. And he's already being like, let's go, bro. I got you. I was like, this is like, can I be mad at this point?
Was that the first time in your life you had your world rocked by a man?
No.
Okay. That's important to know. I am definitely not going to sleep on the couch.
I wouldn't.
Croc Rock was cool.
I've only been there like twice.
We played there once.
Never played
I think
there.
I went there twice.
Yeah, I never played there.
Yeah. That was like the Wall of Death. I went to see A Day to Remember with Papa Roach.
Wait, what?
Who else played that show? There were a couple others that played that show. Down at UMBC.
A Day to Remember Papa Roach.
Yeah, so we're in, the gym or whatever you want to call it, their athletic facility. I think Hailstorm played that show too.
What the fuck?
It was weird. But A Day to Remember did A Wall of Death, and
The worst.
dude, this kid got like messed up. I mean, like, that was a lot of blood. Like his face, his nose, I don't know who the hell hit him, because it wasn't me. I swear. But yeah, he got messed like that. I mean, you basically, so you think about it, like, you got a stage in the front, you've got the basketball court that's got the thing over top of it. It's dark as hell. The bleachers are, pseudo back. And you just have probably like, I don't know, 3,000 people who split down the middle and then just frickin' plow into each other in the middle.
I saw A Day to Remember at Ram's Head, and it was so jam-packed in there. I put my foot on the person in front of me on their back, and I tried to open up a section around me. I had both feet off the ground, leaning against the person behind me, and nothing was moving.
Well,
it was the weirdest and like one of the most tight shows that I've been to. Like,
Ram's Head's pretty small. I mean, it's got
and
like
that
the
was like peak A Day to Remember. Like, I think that was right after Homesick came out.
Okay, so that was like 2009.
Yeah.
I mean, so like they have multiple stories there, which is cool, but it really isn't that big.
I enjoy Ram's Head. I like that place.
So do I, but I think some of the like more popular bands
That's where I saw Limp Bizkit.
are better suited for like the Power Plant live stage outside.
Mm-hmm.
Side note, that Wall of Death was on the bell hit after Disrespect Your Surroundings. Bing! Who did I see at Ram's Head last? That was Bayside. No, I saw Bayside there. I saw Bayside, Census Fail.
I've seen a ton of bands there.
Hawthorne Heights. Did Story of the Year play that one?
It wouldn't surprise me.
They may have. No, so I was at Pier 6 Pavilion when I saw Story of the Year Yellow Card.
Yeah. That was the one I wanted to go to, but I wasn't paying $100.
They need another guitarist.
Nope.
They need another guitarist. They do. Yellow Card fucking killed that show, though.
Oh, I bet.
They have, like, that drummer from, like, Sweden or something now, and he hits all of LP's parts. I mean, it was tight. The hell else did we do? So, Bayside, I did see Set It Off at Ram's Head as well.
I saw them at Baltimore Soundstage.
They got a lot better over the years.
I never really cared for them. They were, like, okay when they played live, but I was just like, move along.
Well, Cody, like, the whole premise was that Cody got big from that video with Alex from All Time Low when he pulled him up on stage. So that was, like, a big thing, and then his dad died, and he wrote a song about that, and it was really good. But they had, like, animatronic skeletons and with, like, fucking light-up eyes and, like, talking and shit. It was
interesting.
Now I gotta find this shit.
There was a time that a buddy of mine called me and asked if I wanted to go see Evergreen Terrace. Evergreen Terrace and D's Nuts in New Jersey. And I was like,
who's D?
Okay.
Remind me to tell you about the time Tyler and I went to New Jersey after this.
We drove down to New Jersey. I forget the venue. I think it was like Hangar or something. I think it was called like Hangar 18 or Hangar 81 or something like that.
Hangar 18.
And First Blood played that show too. So I was like, yeah. Evergreen Terrace was playing, and they played No Donnie. So I ran up front to sing along. I leapt up on someone's shoulders, and the vocalist took the mic and put it down to like let me sing the part. He legitimately shoved the mic into my mouth. It went into my mouth. And as I went to sing, it was just mic into the mouth. And he looked at me simultaneously and like gave me that look like, I'm sorry. And then I was just like, it's okay, I think. That same show, when First Blood played, right when they opened, like they just open on like a bunch of like open notes and everybody goes fucking crazy. There, like, it was a pretty small venue, and like on the right side you had a wall. So like I was standing in the back, and I watched this dude just swing his fist and sandwich this girl's head between the wall and his fist, and she just dropped to the floor so fast. They crowd surfed her to the entrance. Just like unconscious, just whoop.
Oh, that's one way to get him out.
It was very, very strange. Another strange one is I went to see Hatebreed again at Ram's Head. This was at Ram's Head. It was Hatebreed, Job for a Cowboy, Terror, Every Time I Die.
Fucking Census Fail.
So
love Census Fail.
During Every Time I Die's set, this girl was crowd surfing, and there's that gap between where the barrier is and the stage.
No,
she went up over our heads, landed in that gap. The bass player from Every Time I Die walked over, looked down, and goes, "Is she naked?" So I literally like wasn't even paying attention. I looked down like as soon as I heard him say something. She was legit butt naked. Bare ass naked. You could see everything. We were just like, what? So security came over and like they had like a blanket and like put it over her, and like I don't know why she was naked. But she was. It was so like, dude, she ate so much shit. Head first, just right into like floor barrier stage.
I mean, every time I Die comes on, I get naked as well. But
Then there was the time that we saw Twitch Tongues at Charm City Art Space, which very, very small venue. We had no idea what they sounded like. We heard one song, and we were like, okay, like, they're not super heavy. They opened with the heaviest song that I've ever heard, and everybody is just, like, going absolutely bonkers. And we still have our glasses on, and we're just like, what is going on here? Like, is this the same band? And that was wild.
Are they the band that plays in Drop B?
Wouldn't surprise me.
Or like they hit fucking open and it's like just everything rattles. Boom. It's like, do you have a bass for a guitar?
The time that I saw Story of the Year at Baltimore Soundstage, we got VIP tickets, so we went down. We had like a meet and greet with Story of the Year, Hawthorne Heights. So we went around and met all of them, and that was a crazy experience for me because Story of the Year has been my favorite band for forever. So getting to meet all of them was cool. We got a picture taken with them, and then we got to watch them play acoustic before the show, which was really sweet. And they like just kind of sat and chilled, talked, answered questions, and then they played, which was fucking so damn good. The time that Hawthorne Heights was supposed to play an actual venue, they canceled the show, and Hawthorne Heights was like, is there any place around this place in Pennsylvania where we can play? And Skid Row booked them in the garage. So they booked Hawthorne Heights for the garage. Just a straight...
Wait for it. Because he sounds just like he did.
Okay, we don't want to get copyright.
Fuck you guys. This isn't an actual copyrighted recording. It's... Blah, blah, blah.
So they literally booked and they played in a garage. And I just showed up.
Well, it was Skid Row Garage.
Yeah, I think we paid like $5. And they played... That was when they were playing Silence in Black and White from front to back. Dude, there were people crowd surfing on a mattress in the garage, like pressed against the ceiling. That was so insane.
Mick Heiser is the man.
There was a time when I worked at that pizza shop. Everyone was going to see Blink-182 in Hershey. And I was bummed that I couldn't go. My girlfriend at the time was like, hey, I have an extra ticket, like you can go, or you can come along if you can get off. So I called off, and I was like, all right, I just left work because they were like, yeah, you can go. And I was like, fuck yeah. So I got to go see Blink-182, which was gnarly. Come to find out, the only reason that I could go to that Blink-182 show was because the guy she was cheating on me with couldn't go.
That's messed up. That's next level fucked up.
So that's cool, I guess.
Man, I wouldn't do that shit if I was you.
And then there's the time where I saw Limp Bizkit at Ram's Head. That was fucking so good. Any other moments for you here, Andy? I feel like
I was supposed to tell you about one of them. What was it?
When you and Brandon went to New Jersey?
Brandon and I didn't get it. Starlin Ballroom. You remember Tyler? Ty.
Yes.
What's his favorite band?
Silverstein?
No. It's the Starting Line.
Oh, I always thought it was Silverstein.
No, I'm the one that gets pissed off when you discount Silverstein.
I don't discount Silverstein.
I mean, Silverstein's up there for him, I'm sure, but the Starting Line...
Ever since I've known him, he's been like Silverstein.
The Starting Line was like super cool to him for a minute.
Well, yeah, so I know that.
They do their holiday show at the Starlin Ballroom every year.
Mm-hmm.
I got tickets Well, like before you joined Heart, like that the year, like the month after that all started, and we trekked out to Starland, and dude, state champs opened.
I was never too big into state champs.
They are amazing live. Those guys bring some energy. I did not drink, but Ty. What a ride home. Because we were crowd surfing. I mean, like it was, you name it, we did it that night. And Taking Back Sunday played too. I believe that was that night. Because I also saw Taking Back Sunday in DC last winter. That was like a short show that one of the radio stations did for free. The best time seeing Taking Back Sunday was at Power Plant. And I guess it was like 2013 or 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew the bartender at Angel's Rock Bar. So after the show, we got to go up to Angel's Rock Bar, which happened to be the green room that night.
Yeah.
So I used to have this picture of me with one other dude and Adam Lazzara from Taking Back Sunday. Meeting that whole band was really cool because that was when it was like Eddie, Mark, Adam. Fred wasn't in it at that point.
Yeah.
But they had what the hell was his name? The one. Damn it! I think Sean Cooper may have been back by that point. I don't know. Matt Fazzi was playing lead guitar. That was a lot of fun. Bayside at the Auto Bar with my guys from work. We went there one night and went to the casino afterward and actually wound up not going back home. We just went to work the next morning. And everybody was wondering why we were wearing the same clothes.
No reason.
It got to the point where we kind of like left at 11 o'clock. We were like, yeah, we're just going to take a half day.
Reasonable.
The hell else? Have played with Quiet Drive at Club 19 once.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so that show, Andy actually played it too. Quiet Drive showed up and they were like, yeah, we're not playing last.
Excuse me, what?
And we were just like, you guys are literally the reason everyone is here. There's no, like, it doesn't make sense. And they're like, yeah, well, I mean, we want to get out of here early. We want to go back home. And we're like,
okay.
And then Andy's just like, I will play last, but you guys have to say that you opened for me. Priceless, man. Priceless, because they said it. Like, and they were good. Like, you could tell, like, they were good. They weren't very nice.
We played at the Champ when I was in, I think we were Burning November at that time, or maybe we were As Daylight Dies. I can't remember. But we played at the Champ with Waking the Cadaver. And we were like, oh, shit. Like, that. They were, like, the cool, like, death grindy band at the time. Like, everybody was on them. And we were like, fuck yeah, like, we'll play with Waking the Cadaver. We played with our friends in Hamilton Fish at the time. We played with them like everywhere. We were best friends with them. They were awesome dudes. So it was us, Hamilton Fish, and Waking the Cadaver. I think one of the other bands canceled, and I think there was one other band. I couldn't tell you who they were. And we played with Waking the Cadaver. They were fucking dickheads, dude. Absolute dickheads. And I'm pretty sure that they stole the drummer in Hamilton Fish's cymbals.
Well, you were with us when we opened for the Spill Canvas, right? For the guy from the Spill Canvas?
No.
Nick? Or whatever his name is?
Wait. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
When you know who, like, the tour manager was definitely, like, trying to.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I forgot.
And she didn't even realize it. She's like so oblivious.
That was when we went to the hookah bar, right?
Yeah, so we went. We played the show, and then we went to the hookah bar, and then after the hookah bar,
that tour manager was weirdo. Yeah. Wow, I forgot about that.
So then
there were like we'll go on to like shows that we've played.
I played with Shitty Bang.
So the first show that I ever played with my like high school band, it was our first like actual show, and it was at Club 19. So we were like, hell yeah, we get to play a legit venue. It was like March. And for some reason, we just had a like straight up blizzard. Like it just snowed like shit. And we were like, we have to make it. Like we can't not play the show. We have to go. So me, Jake, and I think it was Ty piled into I want to say it was like a 4Runner that Jake had. And we were driving to Club 19, and we were going down this hill that was snow-covered. And we legitimately did a 360 in the vehicle and didn't lose control, didn't hit anything. We were just like, holy shit. We get to the venue. All the people that were there were just the bands. Nobody else came.
Sounds like a regular Club 19 show.
It was bands playing for bands.
That's all Club 19 really ever
that
was.
Was pretty much what Club 19 was for a majority of the time, yeah. But it was such a disappointment because it was like we went through all that trouble to get to play the show, and that happened.
I remember when it was Top Flight out back.
Yeah.
What was our first Club 19 show? It was definitely with Late Night Affair.
I played a lot of shit. I broke my bass at Club 19. I broke my bass and Steve hung it from that little balcony that was above the soundboard.
You know, you want to hear something messed up? Well,
What?
It's not messed up, but it's crazy. Steve was my neighbor.
Really?
When I lived in New York.
He
was in the house right behind mine.
That's interesting. Steve was a cool dude. Well, to us young lads trying to play shows.
Steve was never not a cool dude. Steve just...
And he recorded
Steve.
our first EP. We recorded it at Club 19.
So did we.
Really?
Yeah. And then never released it.
Yeah, we recorded our first EP at Club 19, and after the funny thing is afterwards, he took us back and showed us like all the 19 Star Drum stuff, and he got into Old Wings Ripped Out merch, and he just let us have a field day with it. Dude, we took like one of each shirt. We took CDs, stickers.
I want the Hollywood and Vegas stuff. That was good stuff.
Dude, that was so cool for like us being in high school, like playing shows, like someone to show us that kind of hospitality, and like he would contact us to book us for shows.
He was literally like 3 or 4 years older than us.
That's it, really?
Yeah.
No, he was
Yes.
older than that.
No.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. I didn't know
He's
that.
the only guy I've ever met that, like, I've met a lot of people that name their guitars. Only guy I've ever met who had 2 PRSs from the custom shop named Lady and Luck.
Oh, I think I remember that.
Along with a Collector Series DW kit.
The first show that I played with in-ear monitors was when we played for Heart for Hire.
Oh, yes.
That was an experience because we played it was like I don't even know was it a benefit show? We played in the auditorium
It was Thon for them.
Was it?
It was their mini-thon.
Yeah, we played that, and that was fun. Like playing shows with that band was really fun. Like, was a lot of fun besides the drama.
It could be.
That went on.
It could be.
But the in-ears was weird because like I've never played with that before, and it was just so weird, like not hearing what's going on around me, but hearing what's going on around me through headphones.
Your own little mix.
It was so strange.
Yeah, that was a good show. The show that I remember the most from that, which is odd that I remember this show. I probably shouldn't remember this show. We had, can't remember if you were there or not. I feel like you were, but Andy played guitar with like opposite Ty, and
No.
Julie didn't play at all.
Wait.
It was at Soundstage in Baltimore.
Nope, that wasn't me.
And I remember it distinctly because we covered Girls Just Want to Have Fun. And there was one part where, like, literally everybody screwed up. Andy looked at me, and I did some weird fill, and it went right back in perfect time. And it was like, okay, we got through that. Can we finish the fucking song now, please?
My favorite show that we played in that band was the Sweet 16 show that we played.
That was the most fun.
Dude, that was the most, like, feel like a rock star kind of moment, because we played our set. We played, like, half covers of just, like, whatever we knew. Didn't we play our set again?
Mm-hmm.
We played our set twice, played whatever covers we could think of. And, dude, they were, like, we were signing CDs.
They were happy.
They gave us all the pizza that was left over. Me and you were in the back of the van eating pizza, throwing the crust out the back door.
Wait, was that my van or was that a rental van?
I think it was a rental van. Either that or it was Julie's van from something.
Yeah,
I think it was a rental, but it wouldn't surprise me if, like, she had some connection. I'm pretty
sure I had gotten rid of the van that I had during Rosie Lakes Red at that point. Yeah, that was a wild show.
Dude, there was another. We played a show down in Maryland when we were in As Daylight Dies, and it was a place called the Mud Puddle. I think it was in Maryland.
Puddle of Mud?
I think it was in Maryland.
Puddle of Mud was my first concert.
And they were filming for an episode of Wife Swap.
Oh, boy.
So, like, any shirt that you had with, like, logos on it, you had to turn it inside out. We had to put tape over our amp logos and stuff.
Because that's not you guys' problem. If they want to show up and show, like...
Well, this was, like, when we were in high school still. And... they, like, every band had to do that. So we had to, like, cover up all that stuff. We had to sign waivers and stuff. On our way down to that show, Jake had just gotten his gallbladder removed, like, a week or two before, before then. Dude, his farts were the rankest thing I have ever smelled.
Ugh.
And Ty's dad was driving. So Ty's dad drove us down. And he locked the windows so that we couldn't put them down. And Jake was just ripping the most disgusting farts. And Ty's dad was just having a fucking blast. Dude, he was like, yeah, you can't even air it out now.
But, like, he had to be in it, too.
I think he put his window down.
Oh. Well, I guess that's a little better.
It was awful. I think we were in some, like, we were in a truck. No, I think we were in a van. And he had a fucking, I don't know if I should say this, but his dad had a mini keg in the back. So he just drank beer while we played the show, and then we all went home.
Well, hey, when in Rome.
Dude, that was a really fun show. And I think, like, there was, like, a 10-second clip in that episode of Wife Swap that showed us, but other than that, it was, like, other bands that weren't us. But that was fun. You played Warped Tour.
Yeah, a couple times.
A couple of times?
Yeah.
I was out of the band at that point.
No, that wasn't even with Heart for Hire.
Well, you guys played. Oh wait.
No, I played with Rosie Lakes Red.
You weren't in the band at that point, were you?
No, and then I played before Rosie Lakes Red. I played Warped once. When we played with Rosie Lakes Red, that really was like a crazy experience because, so we played the Ernie Ball stage with all the local bands, but Mayday Parade also played that stage, so that was kind of like, oh, okay. We had people like fucking lined up to sign shit to meet us just for no fucking apparent reason. It's like
that kind of stuff is like super weird. Like when you're just a local band. Like you're not.
Yeah.
That's like when we played like our little weekend tour when I was in Common Ground. Like when we played in Syracuse, which was like the first stop, everybody like sang along to all of our songs, and they were like screaming in our faces, like they knew every word, and it was just like, dude, what? Like, we're in a completely different state. I know none of these people, but they know every single word to every single song.
We so every year down in Ocean City they have H2O International, the VW Fest. We played that. Yeah. So we took the fucking van. It was a 91 Ford like E250 cargo van. Like it had probably 280,000 miles on it. We took that bitch down to Ocean City with a PA that we left there because we had to get back to play a Sweet 16 that night, and we couldn't wait for the other bands to finish, but they were using our sound. On the way down, some of the people in the band were feeling good and started spray painting the windows and shit, not thinking. And on the way back, we hit, I guess it was a deer. I swear it looked like an antelope, but that bitch, like, we just conked right up over the fucking van.
Dude, we, when we did our weekend run with Common Ground, we took my Ford Escape. So we borrowed some equipment that we couldn't take from the band that we were playing with, Separated, and they had a trailer on their vehicle. I think they drove a van. So it was us and my Escape, and that was a pretty tight fit. And we were driving, I think it was, we played Syracuse, and then we played Oneonta or Oneonta, or I can't even think of the proper name of it. And we were going from one place to another, and my friend, our vocalist at the time, Jody, was driving, and he took this turn, and like half of us were like sort of like trying to sleep, but like not really. And I look out my window because I'm on the passenger side in the rear. I look out my window and all I see are headlights, and I'm like, Jody, what are you doing? And he like guns it, and he's like, man, I don't know, these streets are crazy up here in New York. And I'm like, you don't say. How about let's not wreck my car?
Dude, yeah, I mean, it was some wild shit all the time.
Dude, those were some of the best times. That was like playing, like when we played our last show in Common Ground at Charm City, and Cruel Hand played, and like they were a pretty big band at the time, and like we finished our set, and then when they played, they were like, yeah, it's a shame that band's done. Like those dudes were tight. And I was like, hey, let's not call it quits, huh? Let's keep going. But everybody was trying to do other stuff. Just one of the many times I've been let down in bands.
Most recently, I actually recorded a band at Warped.
Like, wait, what?
I recorded a band at Warped. Like, I took my entire rig to Warped Tour in Columbia, Maryland, and recorded their live set.
Interesting.
It was Have Mercy for a video because Todd played a Harbinger.
Oh.
Like, I built it. It was this super nice champagne sparkle wrap with 2 flame maple inlays and, like, full tilt. So we were doing a promo video, so I, recorded that and did a video of like a behind the kit. And once I finished that, they played first in the morning. So I just like packed up my stuff, which proved to be a lot easier because there was a USB out on the mixer for the front of house, so it was literally just piggyback. Didn't have to set shit, and got that, put it back in the car, and we had all access all day. So,
you just unlocked something for me. When I finished school for sound engineering, I did a volunteer job at Purple Door. So I was stage crew. And I was on like main stage crew. So like I got to work with August Burns Red, oh god, Project 86, I think is another. It's the other band. 1,000-Foot Crutch.
Probably Skillet.
No, it wasn't Skillet. This rapper named Lecrae. He's like a Christian rapper.
That's the thing.
Yeah, dude, he was the nicest, most genuine dude I have ever met, easily. There was a couple. Family Force 5, which, dude, okay, so that band, crazy band. They had 16 guitar cases or amp enclosures, like road cases with wheels. And we had like a little lift on the back to the stage where we could put equipment on and like lift it up so we didn't have to carry it.
Did you put it all on at once?
No. So we had to carry 16 cab enclosures. They were lights. They were for lights. We had to screw in all of the light bulbs for each speaker hole. And they had a wardrobe that they had all set up too. So they had like this big giant road case for like wardrobe and stuff, because he had like these Hulk fists that he put on his hands that were like wrapped in aluminum foil for some reason. And the drummer was actually really cool. He when they were playing their set, I was watching, like we were watching side stage because we were stage crew, and he's playing. He has his stick. He loses it. Like he hits the cymbal, it flies out of his hand, flies across stage, lands in front of me. I pick it up, and he looks at me and he goes, and I just toss it to him, and without missing a beat, he just snatched it, and then he like gave me that look like, hey.
That's awesome,
dude. That was a really cool experience, especially like setting up for like August Burns Red and standing like just on stage basically and just like watching like them just obliterate the place.
Well, one buddy
we had all access passes and stuff. I still have my all access pass somewhere.
He's the front of house for them now.
Really?
For ABR. Yeah, he actually played drums for a short time for Versa Emerge, way back.
Holy shit! That's a band I haven't heard of in a long time.
Yeah. And before that, he was in Oh the Story. That sounds like a better experience than my post-recording Warped Tour experience, because I just got shithoused, and I like vaguely remember first getting yelled at by the vocalist from Silverstein to get the fuck off the ramp, and then crowd surfing to Silverstein. I have proof. There's
when
proof.
I was running stage crew, that Lecrae dude was supposed to be like at stage at certain time, and it was that time, and everyone's asking like, where's he at? And we couldn't, like, nobody knew where he was, and he came like around the stage after like 15 minutes like past when he was supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, dude, where have you been? Like you're like about to go up like in 30 seconds. And he was literally just in his van reading his Bible. Apparently that's what he does. Like he just sits in his van and reads his Bible. I'm like, whatever works, man.
Just the Bible, right?
Dude, he's a legit dude. Oh, ABR played, when they played their set, they were like overtime, and we had to start like turning off their we had to start like turning off their equipment, and they were not happy
During recording.
Holy young buck.
Used to look good. Oh. Yes, sir.
Man.
It's true. It's and there's the behind the scenes pic.
Oh, is that the dude that you were there to record?
That's the snare I built.
Dude, the snares that you built were tight. Tight.
Yeah, our shit was good. Oh, YouTube is not receiving enough video. What the fuck is this bullshit?
Oh no!
YouTube is not receiving enough video to make ends meet.
I gotta bring that whatchamacallit thing down here.
We're dropping frames like a. Oh shit! We're dropping frames like a stuck pig in war.
The whatever router thing.
Yo,
here.
who fucked up your internet?
I don't know. Shouldn't be. Our internet's baller, so I don't know why it would be getting messed with. But.
We have over 1% of frames dropped here. This is not a good frame drop rate. Listen, I gotta tell you.
I'm trying to think of any other like.
I've dropped a lot of frames in my life. Many frames. Millions and millions and millions and millions and millions.
Flagging.
I saw Newfound Glory. Actually, I met Newfound Glory. We got to hang out with them. Down at the Fillmore in Silver Spring. Lagging.
Oh, the Fillmore. Dude, that's such a hike. It was so much longer of a drive than I thought.
A little bit.
I saw CKY and him.
A little bit.
At the Fillmore. It was worth the
You
drive.
can't call it him. It's His Infernal Majesty.
Shut up.
You know who I want to see again? I want to see AFI.
I could go my whole life without seeing AFI and be pretty okay.
You don't like old AFI?
Not really.
Oh, you're weird.
Was never a fan.
I can't wait for whatever the fuck that festival is. It's the first time that my daughter will see in Berlin.
What festival?
But whatever it is up in Harrisburg.
Oh, the one that I sent you.
Yeah.
With Stick to Your Guns.
I'm not worried about that. Dude, she was named after one of their songs, so it's gonna be like
Stick to Your Guns.
Like she's so excited.
I want to go to that so bad.
I don't know how I'm gonna.
I want to go to it so bad.
I need to get tickets.
Give me tickets too.
I'll think about it. What the? You'll be like 2 days from having child.
No, I won't.
She will.
No, she won't.
It's September 22nd.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No. No, it's not. It's like the 15th or something.
It's not.
I swear it's not that late in September. I feel like you're lying to me.
I am not. What's the festival called?
It's not a festival. It's like 20 years of tears or something like that. I should have it right here. Because I sent it to you not long ago.
This is the 13th. Yeah, it's the 13th. Okay, it's not that late, but
yeah.
Shit, I really need to get something.
Yeah, get me tickets while you're at it. I'll pay you in Trident layers.
Okay.
And something wicked you'll never forget.
Oh boy.
I'll give you that.
I just like I don't know how I feel about Matty Mullins doing the thing.
All I want to see is Hawthorne Heights and Stick to Your Guns. That's all I care about.
I also don't know if I should actually pay for VIP tickets or if I should just text the guitarist.
You should probably just text the guitarist. Don't tell me I can't go, Alicia.
Yeah, it's only $40.
Yeah, $40 I don't have.
Well. Yeah, he ain't go. All right, you're going. You're definitely going.
Dude, I want to see Stick to Your Guns in a bad way. In a bad way.
Why? It's just Stick to Your Guns.
I love that band.
Well, that's one thing, but
I love that band so much. I'll be right back. Hold on a second.
why? What are you doing?
Just grabbing something behind you.
No, I'm done. I ain't talking about no more.
You'll be done when I say you're done.
Bitch, I gotta go. She gotta go bed. You just farted too. It stinks.
I didn't fart.
You see, I figured you would be happier about Hawthorne Heights Cartel. Emery, dude, it's both. It's literally her full fucking name. That's insane. With this wildlife, I was just told to get out.
By who?
Your wife for trying to take you to a show? Hawthorne Heights, Anberlin Cartel, Stick to Your Guns, Emery, This Wildlife. This is amazing.
All I want to see is Hawthorne Heights and Stick to Your Guns.
Well, fuck you. You got to be there for Anberlin and Emery if I buy them. But I'm not buying them because I just told to get. What am I looking at? What is that?
We're gonna show off.
I ain't fucking doing that.
What a loser!
I was told to get out. I'm getting out. No, it's really 8:49.
You were here later last time, right?
What do you?
You were here later the last time.
I stayed till 9. Try to get her in bed by 9.
I think you're lying. I'll get you in bed by 9.
It's one of those things, man. If what we've been talking about is the case, it is very important.
All right, I'm gonna show off my
Are we gonna hang out this weekend?
Maybe we can't golf, but
What do you mean, maybe? Text me.
maybe I will, maybe I won't.
Well, fuck you.
I'm gonna show off my NES collection here because I want to. I feel like we're straying a little bit from the collecting side of things, and I still want to incorporate that into the podcast. So I'm gonna show some of the entire NES collection, I guess. Let's see. Can we see that, or is that too bright? Oh, we got to change the focus on the camera. Never mind, I think it's already there. Can we see that? That's good enough. So my NES collection is pretty small. It's not anything crazy. I wouldn't say it's not everything that I want. There's still a couple of things that I'd like to pick up. But for the most part, I have a majority of what I care about. The first one is the typical triple cart with Duck Hunt, Track Meet, and the first Mario. I feel like that's a staple that you have to have in really any NES collection. We've got another classic here, the original Tetris. That's just a game I can play literally at any point forever, and I just never get tired of it. I can lose so much time playing this game as well. It's just endless fun. We've got the Ninja Turtles here. I mean, hard as nails, but a great game. We've got Tecmo Bowl, a classic. This was a game that I picked up on much later. I played it on the Switch for the first time, and I figured I should probably pick up a copy because it was surprisingly really fun. So if you like arcade sports games, pick it up if you haven't already. We've got another staple of Mario Duck Hunt. Again, another staple of anybody collecting or owning an NES. It's the same thing. We've got Excite Bike. I mean, the game hasn't aged very well. It's a little boring, I guess is the correct word for it, but it's still pretty fun and just mindless playing. I've got the standalone Duck Hunt. I mean, Who doesn't love Duck Hunt? Why is Andy calling me? What do you want? We've got Dr. Mario. Why is that not focusing? It's still not focusing. Well, that's fun. But we've got Castlevania 2. Castlevania is another one of those games that I was late to the party on, and I used to love playing. Who doesn't love playing Duck Hunt? I played the Castlevania series for the first time on the Switch, and I got these in a trade with somebody for my Xbox kiosk. And then we've got the original Castlevania. So, there's that. This is a game that me and my sister used to play when I had an NES when I was a kid. I love this game. It's so much fun, and if you have a kid and they like cutesy type of games, Bubble Bobble is a good one to play. You're just like little dinosaurs, and you're blowing bubbles at enemies, and then you eat them, and there's little fruit. They turn into fruits, and then you eat those, and then you go down. Yeah, you go down levels. It's a blast. We've got Blades of Steel. I actually just picked this up because it was super, super cheap whenever I picked it up, because the store was closing. So I got it dirt cheap. I have yet to play it, but I heard good things, so we'll see. Now we've got the CIB boxed games that I have here. We've got Zelda 2, from the classic series. Very strange game if you've played Zelda. And this copy was cheaper than the other, like the non-classic series CIB. And it's a really, really clean copy. Like, really, really clean. So I couldn't pass picking that up. No, I haven't played Bubble Bobble with Lydia yet. And, of course, I had to own this CIB, Tetris. Can't not have this CIB. And I think it's only like $50. So, From Russia with Fun. We've got Super Mario 2. Not my favorite Mario by any means, but I got it pretty cheap. Box is in decent shape, minus the scratches, if you can see those there somewhere. It's got some pretty deep scratches across it, but I can look past it. This one I paid up for when I bought it, but I had to have this one because it is an absolute classic. The original Mario, the black box, and on the back, I don't know if the camera will show it, it's got the hang tab that's unpunched, so that's pretty hard to find. The box is in pretty decent shape. I can't remember if it's the 5-screw variant or not, but I couldn't not. I gambled and tried to talk and work a deal with the owner of the shop when I bought this, and he just wouldn't budge. And then I went in like 2 weeks later, and it was still there. And I was like, "You got to take me up on the offer now, right?" So he finally did. So I got it for a good price. We've got Paperboy. Paperboy is a game I also don't think aged very well. It's still fun to play, but it's just one of those games where I'm like, it's too damn hard. It's too hard. So, but I don't know if I want to keep this in the collection or not. It might be on the chopping block, but we'll see. You've already seen this loose, but we've got Excite Bike CIB. Sorry about the glare. There's literally the light that we have that is right here. Yeah, I mean, I played this a lot when I was a kid, and it's pretty cheap to get in box, so I snagged it. I couldn't pass it up. I had to have it. And you've seen this one also. Dr. Mario. Which game got hard at the end? Paperboy or Excite Bike? Yeah, Dr. Mario. That classic puzzle game. I don't like it more than Tetris, but it's still a fun. It gets crazy hard when it gets faster and you have to try and line up the colors. But another cheap one to have CIB, so I figured, why not? This one I got for an absolute steal is the original Zelda CIB. It has the map and everything. The box is in pretty great shape. There was a guy that was selling a lot on Marketplace. It was Punch-Out, Contra, Double Dribble, and Zelda. And he wanted, I think, $300 for it. And I talked him down. I think I got the whole lot for $200. I sold pretty much I think I sold all the games, and I made money, but I kept Zelda because who doesn't love the absolute, like, classic Zelda? What Zelda is supposed to be. And then we've got the creme de la creme, Mario 3. I mean, if you don't like Mario 3, get out now. Don't ever come back. Could not pass that up. Surprisingly, this game isn't expensive. I guess some variants are. You have the Left Bros and whatnot, but this one is, I think, like $60 CIB, which that's the price of a brand new game. That's less than the price of a brand new game. So you can get the new Madden, or you can get the CIB Super Mario 3. Which one are you going to choose? I mean, it's Super Mario 3. You can't. There's no competition there. But that's my NES collection. I of course have the console back there. You can see it right there. There's a couple other games that I'd like to grab. I'd like to get Castlevania 3. If I see them in CIB for a decent price, I'd grab them. But I want to keep the CIB games like for the absolute like must-have games for me. There's like a handful I think that I want to pick up for the system yet that are like must-haves. But other than that, I don't see myself picking up many more NES games. And if people like seeing any parts of the collection, then I'll keep showing some parts. The 360 is going to be a long part there for that, because that's the system I have the most of. Everything else is relatively small. So like, comment, subscribe, do the whole thing. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know how much we suck. Let us know how much you enjoy it or don't enjoy it, or whatever you choose to do. That's up to you. But we like doing this. We like having the podcast. We like talking about stuff, giving you our opinion, playing some games too, and live streaming and interacting with people. So, yeah, that's a podcast. We'll see you next time.